I do not believe, if I remember correctly, that we have any minutes from the last GA. Oh, by the way, I know this is off topic. Happy spring break, everybody. Oh yeah, that's a very good one. Good, thank you, Aleem. So say, woo! All right, we're doing
a bit ago.
What?
I hit record a couple minutes ago.
Awesome, thank you, Advisor Room. Okay, so yeah, if there are minutes, throw it at me. Let me know. Oh, and I meant to say, I hope you all enjoyed a great spring break. I really do. That's what I meant to say at the very beginning. Okay, back to it. So with no minutes, then we're going to move down to corrections and approval of the agenda for today. And take a peeky, looky, and whenever you're ready, I will entertain a motion. Motion made by Senator Sabranek.
Yep.
Second. So second. Seconded by VP Moreno. All right, all those in favor, use the hand raising feature now and keep them up. Okay, yep, you can put them down. And for the sake of doing it like the procedure says, all those opposed, put them up now. And Joe, your hand is accidentally still raised. All right. Senator Ciardelli. I got it right. And any abstentions? Come up now. And it passes for the agenda. All right, moving on down to public comments. And we have Mark Thomas. Is Mark here?
Can't tell, but he's in.
No? Okay. That's a.
He did confirm earlier in the week he would be here, so he might be running late.
Okay. Well then,
I say if he pops in, we just jump back to.
Exactly. We don't want to waste valuable time here. All right. So then moving down to old business items. We don't have any. So then we're going to go down to new business items. And we have Bill 008. And I think this is the running title, right? Excused absences and service hours. This is brought to you by the great people at Admin and Finance Committee. So if I remember this correctly, I know Senator Sabranek's going to read a bunch of this, but I'm going to do something in the beginning if I remember correctly. Let me just pull up the bill. Am I right or am I wrong, Advisor Rome? I was supposed to do something, and Senator Spranik then was supposed to read a bunch of it. Is that correct?
I don't remember if it needs any introduction. I say we let him jump in and read it. I can share my screen.
Good. I'd say Senator Spranik, you go for it, buddy.
Okay. So our Senate Bill 8 amends the attendance section of the Senate bylaws to include excused meeting absences and the lifting of service hours requirements. In the Senate, the Senate of Madison Area Technical College. Yep. Formal motion is to amend Article 4, Section 2 of the Senate bylaws to define excused absences for meetings and the procedures of lifting service hours requirements under extenuating circumstances as presented in Section 2 of this bill. Section 1, primary reasoning. Whereas there is no process for excused absences or lifting of service hours requirements under circumstances such as a sickness, family emergency, or other extenuating circumstances. By adding this to the bylaws, Senate members can avoid accruing points for situations that are outside of their control. This provides a concrete procedure for Senate leadership to follow when a Senate member is unable to attend a meeting or complete service hours for reasonings outside of their control. As written, the attendance policy forces Senate members to explain in front of the entire Senate the reasons for extended absences or not fulfilling service hours through the points appeal process, Article 4, Section 3, Section 2, additional information, optional. All the red text indicates, in addition to the Senate bylaws in Article 4, Section 2, and then here's pretty much just like here's what was in Section 2 of the. This is pretty much This is a lot. I don't think I really. This is a lot to read. I think I'm let you guys kind of look at it for yourselves. I guess.
Yeah, we
It's
weren't
gonna
going to
take a lot
have
of
you
time.
read that through Senator Sobranik. You just have to read the all the way to the. You don't have to go through all the extra stuff.
Yeah.
We already have the bylaws out on the website. They can
Yeah.
read that themselves.
Yeah. So I'll just read the conclusion then. Yep.
Exactly.
All right. Be it enacted by the Student Senate of Madison College assembled that the Student Senate will amend Article 4, Section 2 of the Senate bylaws to define excused absences for meetings and the procedures of lifting service hour requirements under extenuating circumstances as presented in Section 2 of this bill. And that is the conclusion.
I remember what I was supposed to say. This is going. We've been talking about this topic for a little bit now, and this is the first time that we have proposed a bill in front of the entire Senate. As you all should know, how voting goes, especially with bills, legislation, all that jazz. This is just going to be a first read. That way, you guys can all look at it, ponder it, have some thoughts, reflections, and then we come back next to the next GA, and then we make a vote then. So, if you got questions, concerns, thoughts, basically we took all of the things that you had all said, any questions or comments, anything you should have said originally when it was brought up the first time to the Senate, and we tried to find a way that fit and worked for everybody, and that made logical sense for something that comes completely random. These are things that just might happen out of nowhere. You have no control over it. So that's what this was supposed to be, the first read. So if anyone have any questions or anything that they want to say, I more than welcome. I would say let's have a little chit chat quick. We've got 10 minutes on it. How long did it take for you to read that? I would say at least maybe 5. So we got like 5 minutes left, right? We'd have a VP of LA, so they would be telling us right now. But so yeah. Anyone have anything that they would like to say? Well, that sounds like good news then. Being quiet, not saying anything usually says to me that we are almost all in agreement. So if you have any questions or concerns, please feel free to reach out to Senator Zabranik, myself, or Advisor Rome, as we are the temporary. Well, Senator Zabranik was one of the original members, but we are the ones that are fulfilling the vacancies right now. So, and we will look into those things that you have to say, even bring them up possibly to the E-team, and hopefully, the goal here is by next GA to vote on this. This only helps everyone. So, and Advisor Rome.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, please read it in detail if you haven't already, because it's really important to consider the details of the language when it's something going into the bylaws. So if anything isn't totally clear to you, definitely bring that up either in an email before the meeting or at the meeting next week to make sure that the very best is going into the bylaws, because this needs to be able to be interpreted by people long after you all are on Senate and potentially long after I am the advisor. So
yeah, thousands and thousands of years. We're talking a long time, and even spelling mistakes, everything. We want this. This represents what Student Senate is to all the other to the students and to all the other people who are out there around the country, the world. All that. So, all right. So cool. I don't see Mark in here yet, so we'll just keep moving down. Non-business housekeeping items. Does not look like we have any of those either. Moving down to officer and committee reports. Executive Council report. President Green. Well, I believe that the big thing that was really discussed for at length, because I didn't really have anything to talk about, was and public relations we're really doing, and the whole well, let me take a step back and say the whole transition period of having transition materials. If it hasn't been said by now, I'll say it now I did reapply, if that's the right word, to be president again for the next academic year. And like I've said many times before, there's nothing guaranteed or certain in life. So, I may not be the next one. I would hope to, but that's why we have transition documents. We make sure that everything's smooth and clear so that the next team can pick up where we put things down and continue on the great work. So that's really been, I think, a big heavy focus. And VP Moreno and VP Side were kind of expanding on that in their specific areas. If I remember how the meeting went yesterday. So yeah, that kind of ends my report. And moving down to Administration and Finance Committee, I'll just take this one too. Well, we met over spring break to get this bill done. So and it was a great time. We had some tacos, a whole bunch of cool things. And then after that, now here we are now. I don't think we have anything on the horizon after that besides helping to try to get those what transition documents would look like for the next VP of AF. But yeah, that's really the gist of that. All right, Legislative and Rules Committee, that is vacant. Team Development Committee, VP Moreno, go for it.
Okay, so since we're back from spring break, the idea is that now we're gonna start working on the different activities that we have planned. So we're gonna be sending out information, emails about that. There's gonna be an activity each week, so make sure to set time for those. They're gonna be fun. We have the idea of movie nights the way we used to last semester. We're gonna do trivia nights as well. We're gonna do another get to know your Senate, so that way we can kind of bring out the fun sides out of us outside of Senate as well. But other than that, it's gonna be mostly that information. We're gonna try and use a similar method that we did last semester, which was sending out a presentation that everyone could have access to. Very interactive, very colorful, so that it's nice to the eye. It's gonna and if there are any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me or to Senator Stevo. We're gonna be working hard and we're gonna try to make this closing semester, or at least, last semester for some of us, a nice one. Definitely.
All right, does that conclude your report? Awesome. Thank you very much. Now moving down to Public Relations Committee, VP Saeed, what do you got for us?
I don't have a whole lot of report. It's just that I've been working on transaction documents, and I and VP Marino has attended the radio show, and I think it was a successful show. And if you guys would like to watch the recording, I could probably put it in the chat here. And that ends my report here.
All right, awesome. All right, so moving down to special reports, the advisory report with Advisor Rome. Take it away.
All right. As you know, elections are happening. The ballot will go to all students in degree credit classes Monday afternoon, and there will be a reminder probably on Thursday for anybody who hasn't done it already to complete it by noon on Friday. So tell your friends, it's happening. I'm going to post a link in the chat. This includes all of the candidate profiles, so you can see everybody who's running. It's a little bit tricky for my eye at points with no bold or underline or anything, but it outlines all of the candidates. It just kind of, for me, took a minute to really understand what it was I was looking at. So it has all the answers for the candidates' questions that they answered in the application. So check it out. It will be linked with the ballot so that students can kind of be informed voters. And as a reminder, write-in candidates are allowed. So if you know anybody who missed the opportunity, wants to write in and join Senate next year, there are still some spots open. And then the only other thing I wanted to mention was the new senator meeting, April 15th. The executive team is doing some planning for that. It will be almost exclusively focused on just getting to know each other. So it should be a nice opportunity for everyone who's going to be on the Student Senate next year to get to know each other, hear a little bit about what will be happening with Senate, but it should be good. So we'll meet all the new people, which is always exciting. I think that concludes my report.
Awesome. Very cool. Very cool. Yeah, looking forward to that new senator meeting. All right. So moving down the list now, regional and metro campus reports. Reedsburg is vacant. Watertown is vacant. Portage is vacant. Fort Atkinson, vacant. Goodman South, vacant. And now moving down to College Assembly and Council reports. College Assembly. I'll take this one, Joe. Senator Ciardelli. I put you on the list though because you will be. He is the new College Assembly representative for Senate for us. But since you weren't at the last meeting, I will fill in and let's get you acquainted. So, what happened at the last College Assembly, which was like either 2 weeks ago? We are continuing our long journey of talking about ways that, well, it's not long, but it feels a little long. How we can make sure that we're being inclusive and to every student, staff member, faculty, administration, guest, child, everybody who is walks into one of our college campuses or into the Madison College community. How can we make them feel safe and welcome and a part of it? And it's been split up into different sections and areas. My specific area is the regional campuses. How can we link those in and make them feel more welcome? If they don't already feel that way, all that. How can we use what we've learned from this past year, and adapt it? There's a lot of things. So Advisor Rome's, Advisor Rome, she's actually she's on the College Assembly too, if you all didn't know that. But her little team, her breakout room, if whatever you want to call it, they did fabulous. I mean, really good. So good, in fact, that it was a little bit not so good for my team right off the get go. Sometimes it's a little bit hard to understand what's exactly going on, or what's being asked of. But taking advice from Advisor Rome, I promptly set up a meeting with all of them and met with them on Mondays. So, making some progress here. But yeah, that's basically trying to, how can we find ways in all these different areas across our college community to be more thoughtful and inclusive to everyone's feelings and make sure everyone feels safe and respected. So, it should be a work in progress, and not like everything gets done in one day. Just, it sometimes feels a little bit long though, but there's nothing wrong with it. I get to have fun with Advisor Room. So that summarizes that. See how much, Senator Ciardelli, you're going to enjoy this when you're doing this a couple weeks from now. All right, moving down, Academic Council, Senator Yildiz. What do you got for us?
Today was my first day and it went really well. So we did talk about quite a bit. The first thing that we did talk about as a group is about integrating a college commitment to the principles of diversity, equity, and inclusion into like a common syllabus elements so that students will regularly see and understand the college's commitments and values and principles. And we're doing this through CEDL / the Academic Council, so more of like a collaboration between the two. And then the next thing we talked about is that I was luckily the timing was great because I joined just as we're doing a brand new interest-based problem solution. So the one that we're focusing on right now is how could offering a credit / no credit option in eligible courses impact our students and other stakeholders. And we are collecting data. So actually, if anyone has questions, concerns, hopes, opinions, or experiences related to credit, no credit, that'd be great for data collection for the next meeting.
All right. Does that summarize your report, Senator Yildiz? All right, awesome. Thank you very much. All right, moving on down, Diversity and Community Relations Council, that is vacant. Facilities Planning and Investment Council, that is Facilities Planning and Investment Council. Senator Willis, you got a report for us?
Well, if you don't want it, I won't give it.
Oh, I do. I always want it.
Okay, well, we met, and like I said, that group is a group of overachievers. So, of course, we met during spring break, and we're meeting again tomorrow. Well, first and foremost, I want to share some good news with you. We actually got Dr. Daniels to approve our energy management plan. And he did that on the 18th. And they posted it on SharePoint, the announcement. And what we're working on is actually reconfiguring the Facilities Planning and Investment Council to be more inclusive as well. We are looking at all the options that we have to try to include diversity into what we're doing as a council. So it's interesting. And so tomorrow we're meeting in a subgroup. We divided the council into 3 groups, and at first we were going to meet as separate groups, but then they decided we're going to do it as one group to go back through our 10-year plan and come up with another modified 3-year plan for the next 3 years, since a lot of the current work that has been being done under the current 3-year plan is almost completed. So we were excited to find out that, like, for example, with the child care center, they're pretty much done with everything except the last 2 rooms that they have to work on are for 6 months to 1-year-olds or 2-year-olds. And then they'll actually be full once they get the students enrolled for, or the children enrolled for the 6 to 2-year room. So, yeah, like I said, we've been doing a lot. And we'll continue to keep modifying it, and we're going to go back now and relook at all of the people who have made requests to have work done, to have things remodeled, to be relocated, etc., throughout the Madison College system, to make sure that the priorities for the next 3 years actually still are in sync, considering we've had COVID in the middle. And that sort of changed with us being off campus a year, and then figuring out with the groups where we were going to be expanding space for them, if that's still necessary, if they're going to still have people potentially working part of the time from home, or how that's going to be worked out. So we're just trying to make sure that we're not still trying to plan too much space for a group that now needs smaller space for whatever reason, whether it's attrition or that some people will be working part of the time from home.
Awesome. Does that conclude your report, Senator Willis?
It does.
Awesome. Yeah, that 10-year plan is really well done, fantastic. We appreciate all the work that's been put into that, and we continue to appreciate all the re-going over the work, because that's fine eyes. I mean, thank you very much, Senator Willis. All right. So moving down, Finance Council, Senator Sobranik, what do you got for us?
I got no report. Looks like we're going to meet next month.
All right, big lead up, and then you just throw no report. No, just throw around. All right, Information Technology Council, Senator Zebel, what do you got for us?
We do not meet till April 1st.
Okay, I guess that seals that up. And then Institutional Effectiveness Council is vacant. Professional Development Council, Senator Willis, what do you got for us?
Our next meeting is April 5th, so no report.
April 5th, no report. Awesome. Then, last but not least, Student Affairs Council with the one and only VP Moreno.
Okay, now I'm muted. So We had one of our, well, this is I think the second meeting. I couldn't attend the last one that they did. They one before, but we had a meeting today and we did a recap. And we're gonna have another meeting soon. But for this one, we had a special guest. Her name is Denise, not Denise from the food pantry, but another Denise at the college, and she came up with different information about specifically the outreach aspect of the mental health committee. So she brought up the all the different information about the classes that most students take, and whether it is, the liberal arts path that is like one of the biggest and most like students take on that program mostly at the college. So she brought up new ideas. We talked about how to implement new information through Blackboard, not only as adding more about mental health and addressing the different resources or the stigmas that come with mental health, like through a course. So, when you have like the different courses, have like an extra course, but instead, using the information as like the shell in Blackboard. So trying to see how we could incorporate information about mental health through that aspect as well. So it was interesting, the conversation. We're still planning on working. We did come up with 3 different applications, like apps from the App Store that we have been thinking that could potentially bring up new information or ideas of how could we promote the mental health aspect to students. But so far, we were thinking about the idea that, from an objective student point of view, sometimes, like right now, we're using a lot of applications, and perhaps that might be an overload for students. So I'm trying to think what would be the best way, the most efficient way, and I would say the best way to reach to the students at this point. Yeah, that's what we have.
All right, awesome. Thank you very much. Okay, well, we are at a bummer here. I still don't see Mark Thomas. We have announcements up next. So I'm just gonna keep going straight down that line, and it's a shame we can speak with Mark. Right? You know what? Well, am I looking at the wrong thing? There's no way I could be looking at the wrong thing right now. If I was wrong.
I think Senator Yildiz did try to ask during her report, and I think it's important enough, and we still have half an hour before anybody needs to go to class. So I think it would be a pretty good idea to talk about it because there are some pretty long-term consequences for this potential policy. So
without a doubt, I thought we were. Without a doubt, trust me, we're in unusual times doing all these differences with how we usually do our order of business, and just trying to keep with the procedure. But I'm totally fine with having a conversation.
Someone can make a motion to go back to that report if you want that formality.
Oh no, I'm fine with if we're good with talking about. I'm more than happy to talk about. I think it's the no-credit thing is a big issue actually. Sarah Sabranick.
I was just making the motion in case if.
Okay. Well, yeah. I was just gonna say we can just go right back to it. It's fine. So Yildiz, you want to start this off? I'm just gonna say we don't have to make a motion on this one, because we learned this time. Next time we'll do it perfectly. But Senator Willis, you have a question?
I was just going to recommend that we suspend Robert's rules and just deal with it that way instead of going through all the formalities.
Yeah, that is another very
So I would just move to suspend Robert's rules and then we just have at it. Then that way you don't have to worry about everybody.
So you making a motion then to suspend Robert's rules?
I am moving to suspend Robert's rules.
And Senator Sabrina, is that second to suspend Robert's rules?
Yeah.
Right. And can you
but your hand's been up the whole time. You can't call whatever.
Okay. All those in favor, use the hand raising feature now, and please leave it up. And I'll put them down. You guys are gonna hate me for this. All those opposed, put them up now. And down, and any abstentions, put them up now. All right, Robert's Rules has been temporarily put on pause. So take it away, Senator Yildiz.
Yep. Okay. So this is big for the data collection. I am going to read it one more time. And then literally anything you think of, just say it. All opinions are right opinions. So I'll read it one more time. How could offering a credit/no credit option in eligible courses impact our students and other stakeholders? So questions, concerns, hopes, opinions, and your own experiences are all, great. So is there anyone?
For which classes was this exactly?
Could you repeat that, please?
For what classes, or what's the scope of this?
Oh,
This
the
policy?
credit no credit is for all eligible courses.
All eligible courses?
The one thing I would recommend is that people check if they're going to be transferring to another university or college, that they check with them to see how that would impact them. Because sometimes if you have like the pass fail option, or in the same circumstance, right, what you're talking about, to make sure that alternative option would be transferable and they would still get credit, or if they would still have to have an underlying grade. So if they got a D, that wouldn't transfer. And even though they would pass and still be able to continue their program, just to make sure that they double check that before they apply to transfer, or before they even make the decision to do that, if they already have an idea as to the college or colleges that they are considering transferring to.
Right. Okay. So to summarize that, you're saying for the students to understand whether the university they're transferring would have that class transfer over if it's credit or no credit.
Yes.
All right. That's
or
great.
whether or not the college already has an arrangement with with the other colleges, because like I said, with COVID, a lot of things have already been modified because they had to do that last spring and in the fall for students. But just to make sure going forward, depending on how things continue to work out, that students just make sure that they double check.
Okay. Thank you so much.
I would also just to add to Senator Willis here, when you're even deciding the transferring thing, and what does Madison College do that other colleges may not, check out Transferology. That's what the advising department uses when looking into differences between what certain classes would actually transfer over and count as credit. And I think that there should be some info that does talk about other areas. I didn't get too far into it myself, but yeah, it's what that's what advising uses all the time. It's called Transferology, and it is very helpful. So that's just my 2 cents, but yeah, Senator Willis is right on it.
Thank you. Appreciate
and then what about the consideration for impact on GPA? Because if it's just like the credit, no credit option, does that mean it doesn't impact, how does that impact their GPA? So like for students who are members of Phi Theta Kappa or the National Leadership Success Honor Society, how will that have an impact on their GPA?
I guess between the fine lines though, right? Because there's the overall term GPA, and then there's the specific semester or term GPA. And the thing that you can get smacked on is that term GPA versus your overall GPA. Because I took no credit for all of my classes in my second semester or whatever, and so I got 0 GPA. Right, I had 2.818. You guys know I'm not that smart, and so with that, it just carried over onto the third year, and that's like, okay, but now I'm being put into financial aid, a warning, and now I'm like, why? Why should I? There's a lot of, there's good things, but there's bad things. So this third semester, I passed 3 of my classes. I was not able to pass my Python class, which I now have to take in the summer. And you know what? My overall GPA though went up to 3, because I just decided not to let that, that's the one nice thing. You just put no credit and it doesn't exist, and all the good stuff you've done just boosts everything. But yeah, that's just from my experience. But then I got put on suspension, for that. It's like, why should Why should students be put on suspension or even on a warning for the ones who are actually trying to actually do good, but are facing these just ridiculous things happening out in the world right now, and just trying to like basically stay alive? I don't know. I think that we are ending up getting somewhat of a raw deal, not exactly on because of Madison College. I think it's the Department of Education, but it's quite ridiculous. It's frustrating, time consuming, and it puts a lot more worry and concern on students that don't need that when they're already trying to figure out how to get their classes done in a different way than they know how to do them, and then deal with being able to do things like go out, get groceries, meds, whatever, and not get ill and possibly die. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. I'm gonna try to summarize it the best
I'm
I
sorry, I
can.
just rambled it
Oh,
off.
no. This is great. I love this. All the information. This is going to be really helpful. So when I'm meeting with them, I'm going to bring up the term GPA versus the overall GPA and how that works. And I think about and in terms of like honors programs and other programs that students are in and how that would affect that. And then about financial aid with these term GPAs and how the credit or no credit can actually impact the financial aid
It
aspect.
does. Like it is a big issue, and it would be if I had to get on a hill and if I had to pick my battles, boom, that would be my battle. I'd be like, oh, that is not cool. Like that somebody ends up going down the food chain and ends up taking the consequence for what? Something that nobody did. When it's through a pandemic, why are we getting geez, geez Louise,
When you move to financial suspension, you literally have to start paying for your classes.
Right.
So
well, you have that opportunity to meet with if you get put on suspension, basically what happens at that point is you to be lifted off of suspension and be put on what's called an academic plan. You have to meet with your actual academic advisor. You have to, it looks good to have a letter of recommendation from another staff or faculty member that can vouch for you, but then you have to actually say the things that you're going to do differently from the last semester. You can't just write out a form. It actually has to be, you have to spend at least an hour talking to the advisor, and then I think you have to do a couple other minor things. But when it happened to me, I work in the department, so it's a little bit easier. And VP Moreno knows what I'm talking about. Just knock on the door and say, "Hey, can I step into your virtual office for a second?" No, it'd be like, "Can I step in your office?" But how it goes. Yeah. So I am very actually Senator Yield does all this stuff with no credit. It's stuff that I get phone calls all the time about in the Student Success Center, and I don't know. It's a big fascination with me. I'm very interested in it, and I think we should all open our eyes and look at it because if it doesn't happen to you, cool, it doesn't happen to you, but it does happen to a lot of the students. And most of the times when the advisor appointments are being made, it's because they're being put on a suspension and they didn't know why. Well, they didn't check the My Madison College student email. They didn't check the student portal, yada, yada, yada. But they're still now on it. Can't do anything about it.
One of your biggest concerns that I'm gathering from this is that you think that there is a huge lack of communication, which results into these detrimental after effects of these credit.
Lack of communication, and then it's kind of like I don't know if you've ever heard that phrase about like people doing government work, like hand the paper in on Monday, and then slowly makes its way to get any work done on that paper, and then Friday rolls around, nothing's been done, and government moves slow. It's some joke. It's really funny, but it's done bad by me. What I'm trying to say is when I knew that I got put on suspension, I knew what was going to happen because I've been trained in it. What happened was this slow chug of, okay, am I off of, I've done a thing. Now it's 2 weeks. Why is it 2 weeks? I know we have a lot of students. I get that. But we have a lot. Here's the thing I don't get, and maybe someone who is better at math or statistics or whatever can fill me in on, is for me, that says if, because advisors have like 100 students or something for one advisor, roughly. I mean, I'm not, it's approximate, but like that means we need to more people, there needs to be more people then so that we can be, helping to make sure that everybody is being helped. Like, if there's not enough people, and then that's why the financial aid process, when you get put on something like suspension after doing the neuro credit, it goes that slow. Then we need to get more people in there. If it's something else, then it's something else. But it's like I finally had to, finally, do the thing I didn't want to do, which was write this very long email, just kind of ranting a little bit and saying like, why does it still say I have a hold on my account for something that you just told me 2 weeks ago was not there anymore? And it still says I have a hold. Is this going to affect the disbursement date of my financial aid? Because now here I have to think for this entire week. I have to be worried about it. Like, why should I have to be worried about something when I did the process that you told me I had to do for something I didn't even do in the first place? You know what I mean? Like, try. Yeah, I'll tell you guys a good hint, or a good piece of advice. Learning doesn't do much to say I tried does not hold a lot of weight sometimes in the educational system. I mean, if you tried did your best in a class and you still failed, you failed. It doesn't always look like, what everybody's time and effort, if they tried, should be. I'm not saying everyone should get trophies, but I'm saying we should at least recognize the fact that the effort got put in there, and not just, well, you failed.
I agree.
When things like a pandemic happen, it's not exactly going to be easy. We can write, pens and paper and say, yep, this is the plan, step 1, step 2. But we're dealing with an unknown thing here. The only known thing that we know is it's a virus. We're in pandemic, but there's so many different variables here. So I know, I went off, but I think it was a healthy going off, so everyone could really understand and get into that mindset. Advisor Rome.
Yeah, no, I think you had great things to share.
Schools anyway, so you can get to talk.
I just don't interrupt people, so I just wanted to make it known that I had a comment. It's hard virtually. So when I was, what?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I'm honestly asking a question. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
I'm not hearing anybody.
Okay. Well, I'm going to share my thoughts while Sean figures that out.
Okay.
So when I was in undergrad, we did have an option
Keep
to.
talking. I'm going to figure it out, and I'll watch the recording after the fact, but.
So when I was in undergrad, we had the option to do a certain number of classes pass-fail, and I thought it was a great option. I think there is a danger of having any and every class potentially able to be pass-fail. I think that some students might think that they can just, get C's and then everything's passing, and then they don't have a GPA, right? So I think there is a danger of having it just be unlimited. Whereas if it's a certain number over the time that you're in school, then you're a little bit more thoughtful about it of, okay, I know I'm really not good at math. I will do my best effort and know that I have the option to do the no credit or the credit if it, doesn't work out the way I planned. So I know I used that a couple times when I was an undergrad, but it was not even 5 times that you could total. I think it was more like 3, which is pretty limiting, but just something to consider.
Can you I hear everything again now. Can you just say that first little bit again? What was that you said?
Yeah, when I was an undergrad, there was a limited number of classes you could, or not limited number of times you could do pass-fail, which I think was helpful. So
yeah, I don't want to do a pass-fail. I really want to show, don't you always want to show like the work that you've done? Like it's like you feel good about yourself, So yeah, having a pass, what's that say? No, you passed the class. I want to say like, yeah, dude, you got the A. So yeah.
Elliot,
I take Python for my 3rd time in the summer now. I mean,
Hey, it's all about knowledge, not a letter grade. Now remember that.
That's what, I don't know. I want to say that's what they tell you, but I don't know.
I want to link back to Ellie. I really liked your idea. I just want to say this is a really, really good idea. Do you have a recommendation on how many numbers that pass-fail should be available for Madison College students if this does get implemented?
I don't think I do.
Okay.
I think no more than 10 for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't think I have a specific number.
Sounds good. Thank you. Is there anyone else?
So I was curious, like, so you said all the eligible classes, you know, are potential candidates, but do you have any more information on what those might be? Like, because we already discussed, you know, the possibility of, you know, your classes might be disqualified for transfer if they're pass fail rather than for, you know, a letter grade. So
Yeah.
I was wondering, maybe the transfer classes are not eligible already, and we don't even need to consider them for discussion because they're
I
not.
can ask. I don't know if the transfer classes are an option. I think they might be uneligible courses. Maybe, don't take my word on that. But I'm pretty sure that most classes, let's say like, I don't know, psychology, anything, I guess, English, math, those would be options, just like general courses. I don't know. But all I know is that there are quite a bit of eligible courses available for that. But the issue is we don't know certain like if you're going to transfer to a different university, we don't know if they're going to accept that or not. So that is the issue. So that had to be something that you figure out on your own, which is not what we want from the academic council. We want to be able to have these students know before, so they don't overlook these kind of things.
Fair enough. Thank you. And one other consideration, you know, a lot of times you might hear people say, oh, let's try to be proactive instead of reactive. But I think on this matter, it might actually make more sense to be reactive. You know, if someone doesn't perform the way they'd like in a class, maybe then you could talk with your advisor and see if you can get it graded for a credit or no credit.
Oh, that is an option. You can decide at the end of the semester. So if you're like, I'm not like, I thought I was going to get an A, but you know, I'm not satisfied with the C. I'm scared it's going to impact my GPA. Then you could, you know, ask for the no credit option. So that is a thing. But you know, still have to keep in mind if it's going to be transferable.
Sure. Yeah, and I think that would be, you know, just personally, I think that's you know, a little bit more prudent, because if maybe you don't even know, maybe you're worried about a class and you don't know how well you're going to do. Maybe you end up doing just fine, but you set yourself up for a credit, no credit grading before you even start the class, and you kind of, you kind of did yourself a disservice if you ended up doing just fine in the class, you know. So maybe we could just make sure that's clear for the students, you know, on the documentation on the website, wherever the information is, make sure that they know that they can decide this later on. They don't have to do it up front.
Right. Okay. That's thank you. This is great. Anyone else?
I just found the page on the website that actually you can look up by class number for what's eligible. So if that's helpful, and anyone wants to check that out.
Well, yeah, but don't they change? They change, like they possibly change a little bit each semester.
And it looks like they're going to keep updating it every semester, but it at least gives an idea. And again, that doesn't guarantee that you won't affect your transfer options or something else. So
it's best to talk to both schools. I mean, yeah, you really need just to talk to both schools just to be on the safe side. A lot of calls would come in going, I was told it was going to transfer. But they didn't contact both schools. They just did, you know, a half season on one side, and now they didn't get accepted, or they didn't get done, the deadline hit or whatever, and then now they're all upset at me, and like it's like, it's not my fault. You know, so yeah. Whatever Senator Ciardelli said, he was on top of it.
Sounds good. This has been a great discussion. Thank you, everyone. I really appreciate it. I'll make sure to bring up all these points during our next council meeting, and then give you the answers that you want or need.
Right on. Well, any if we could keep talking, I mean, I would think we have at least until 5:30, and what I gotta say is going to take at least maybe 2 minutes. Or unless you guys just want to get out of here. I mean, maybe you guys want to do that too. So I see Senator Willis is typing something, so I'm just going to keep going. And we'll see what she has to say in a second. Announcements. Well, guys, we gotta be doing those virtual office hours. We gotta be doing our office hours. We gotta be logging those office hours. I can't stress enough. This is not speaking to any one individual. This is speaking to all of us as a team. It's only hurting you in the long run. All right. I think me and Advisor Rome, we fairly assess the stipend based on the performance, and that the office hours, the virtual office hours, those are part of the job. So please just do them. You're helping yourself, but you're also helping students being available. So just think about it. And then that April 15th thing that Advisor Rome had brought up earlier about that new senator meeting, only need to attend it if planning on being on Senate next year. So if you're not planning on being on Senate next year, you don't have to attend it. And it doesn't account against you, but we always like all of our senators, past and present, and the more the merrier. Yeah, you got something to say, Senator Yule does?
I was wondering, is that something that me and Joe still needs to attend? I wasn't sure. Okay.
Yep.
What day is that? And,
April 15th.
Okay. And there would be a link. Is that something that would be emailed? Just,
I believe probably Advisor Rome already, she's great at this, has already sent out something. But if let's do it like this, if a week prior you don't still don't see anything, she'll get it out to you. She's got your back.
So everyone who's going to be on Senate next year needs to come, not just if you're new.
Yeah, so I misread that.
Term, which I've realized actually every single one of you except Vice President Moreno has submitted an application for next year. And we are just going to meet. I plan to just meet in the General Assembly link because it's the same time. Instead of confusing people by removing the calendar invite. So it'll be the same link. I will just add all of the other senators that will be elected next week. So everyone's going to be there.
The usual time at 4:30, right?
Yep. Yep. Cool. We're planning to end at 6 though.
Okay.
Not a moment too soon or not a moment past dawn or whatever, basically. All right. Yeah, then those Senate elections. This is the time, guys. We've all been waiting for this. Yeehaw! You got one crazy week of elections. Promote yourself on Wolfpack. You promote yourself. Just do it by regulation things. Not read the bylaws. But yeah, I'm proud of you guys. Have fun. It's always a fun time. And other than that, I don't really have anything else to say. If there's anything, last little bits of comments that people want to throw at me, Senator Willis, go for it.
I move to adjourn.
Well, there we go. We have moved to adjourn. Do we have a second on that? Seconded by Senator Zebel. Is that a second?
Yes, sir.
All right, seconded by Senator Zebel. All right, all those in favor, please use the hand-raising feature now and keep your hands up. And I'm so happy and proud of all of you. I'm not even going to make you go through those last two bits. The meeting has been adjourned for the evening. Congratulations. Go team. 525. Ding, ding. And I'll see you all later. Advisor Rome, can you just make sure